We're now T-minus 16 minutes, 17 seconds and counting. And it's a question we get asked all the time, no matter if we've started the live stream or not. So let's go ahead and talk about the trajectory of tonight's mission. Discuss where this bird is going to fly as LOX load begins on the second stage. As previously mentioned, the rocket is going to be lifting off from SpaceX's currently only pad that they use for Falcon flights, Slick 4E, Space Launch Complex 4 East. Falcon 9 is going to be launching in a southeasterly trajectory along the coast of Southern California and the western coast of Mexico. First stage booster will be landing on one of SpaceX's 3 drone ships. The one on the west coast is, of course, I Still Love You. Falcon 9's second stage will continue on with the Starlink satellites. The fairing halves will be deployed a little bit beyond this map here, where they will be scooped up by a recovery vessel and brought back to port, where they will be examined, refurbished, and turned around for future flights. As previously mentioned, SpaceX is going to be launching 22 Starlink V2 mini satellites on board this mission tonight. These satellites come in at about 1,760 pounds, or about 800 kilograms. They have a wingspan of about 100 feet or 30 meters with the solar panels unfurled. Unlike their predecessors that used Krypton Hall thrusters, these guys use Argon Hall thrusters for in-orbit maneuvers. They were built in Redmond, Washington, near-ish to Seattle. Be deployed at about 180 miles or 290 kilometers above the Earth's surface at a 53-degree inclination. While we don't yet still have a good on-orbit photo of them or rendering of the V2 minis from SpaceX, this is the best photo that we have at the moment from HEO Robotics, snapped last year from one of its satellites, looking at one of these Starlinks on board station, or excuse me, on orbit. I say onboard station because part of my brain is still thinking about the next mission for SpaceX coming up later this week, launching second generation Dragon for the first time to the space station, not from Launch Complex 39A. Oh no, this one is going from Slick 40, as SpaceX has completed its work and certification on the crew access tower there at Pad 40, as well as certifying the emergency egress system, that new red slide system that we showed you a video on, currently up on the YouTube channel here. If you haven't already had a chance to check that out, go ahead and watch it when we wrap up our coverage later today. Or if you want to put this live stream in one tab and open that video and watch it, as we still have about 12 and a half minutes. We got plenty of time to do so. It'll be the 30th Commercial Resupply Services mission contract flight for SpaceX, heading up to the orbiting outpost. And again, as you can see, with pretty picturesque skies here, just about as good as you can get with a sunset launch. And so if you are farther south of Vandenberg, put your eyes to the skies, it could be a gorgeous sunset launch.
Retracting.
And you can see the Strongback retract sequence underway. The transporter erector tilts away from the Falcon 9 rocket. Again, this is Vandenberg, so it will recline about 13 degrees away from the vehicle. Stays in that position until liftoff. Now coming up on 3 minutes before flight. Your call out shortly for.
Stage 1, lock float complete.
And there it is. A little less than a minute, we'll hear the same call out for stage 2 LOX load, at which point the Falcon 9 will be fully fueled with 1 million pounds of propellant. As we come into this final 2.5 minutes of the count, we'll come back to the great support in our live chat on the other side of the launch. But to the now more than 20,000 of you who are watching live, first off, thanks for being with us this evening. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the like button to allow more folks to find our live coverage as we close in on the final 2 minutes for the flight of Starlink 7-16. Less than 2 minutes to lift off.
Stage 2, lock float complete.
And with that call again, the Falcon 9 is now fully fueled. You should see some venting. Those are the ground gas closeouts. Yep, that's the venting you see right there. All things fueling proceeding nominally as we come in on the final minute before liftoff. Also, for those of you who are in Southern California watching in real time, the time you see here on the SpaceX countdown at the bottom of your screen, it's about
Falcon 9 is in startup.
11 seconds off from real time. So if you want to make sure to catch it as it flies, your countdown is about T-minus 36 seconds and counting. So
LD is go for launch.
Subtract 10 seconds and you'll be golden. We're now coming up on 30 seconds before liftoff.
T-minus 30 seconds.
And we'll go ahead and listen to the final few seconds of the SpaceX count. We'll be with you on the other side of liftoff.
T-minus 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go Starlink. Go SpaceX.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Engine chamber pressure is nominal.
Power and telemetry are nominal.
A good liftoff, as you saw, of the Falcon 9 rocket on the Starlink 7-16 mission.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
First minute into flight.
Max Q.
There's that call out for Max Q. Falcon 9 has passed through the point of greatest aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle. We're now less than a minute from MECO, or main engine cutoff.
And back chill.
That call you just heard, they are thermally conditioning the upper stage engine for its burn to begin. Again, we're going to see a number of events in pretty rapid succession. Main engine cutoff, or MECO, at T plus 2 minutes and 26 seconds, thereabouts. That'll be followed a few seconds after that by stage separation. Second stage engine start at T plus 2 minutes, 36 seconds, and then fairing deployment at T plus 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Got a great view of the setting sun over the curve of the Earth there on the left-hand side, just beyond the flame of the Falcon 9 first stage engines. Coming up on MECO.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
And back ignition.
All good callouts through MECO stage step. Burn of the Merlin vacuum engine. You can see the hypersonic grid fins deploying there on the first stage. Those will help provide steering and stability as this first stage makes its way back down towards the drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, which is stationed out in the Pacific Ocean.
Fairing separation confirmed.
A little more than 3 minutes into flight, and unlike most launches for Starlink, we didn't actually see the payload fairings separate from the upper stage, which is a bit unusual, especially for a Starlink mission. And so far, there have been no onboard camera views of the second stage either, which is also a bit abnormal for SpaceX. Now coming up on the 4th minute in flight. For whatever reason, instead of the normal onboard views we would see of the Merlin vacuum engine during its burn, we're just getting the telemetry map there on the right-hand side of your screen. Unclear if SpaceX will be providing onboard views of the upper stage. And there we go. Now we have some onboard camera views of the second stage.
Vehicles are on a nominal trajectory.
Appears to be a good burn of the Merlin vacuum engine. As you just heard call out that both the first and second stage are following nominal trajectory. In other words, everything is proceeding on course with both phases of the mission, recovery of the booster and the flight path of the upper stage. You're seeing a little bit of booster shadow there. The sun is glinting off of the grid fins, the Falcon 9 first stage. Those little bursts that you're seeing are the cold gas thrusters, which help provide a little additional steering attitude control on the Falcon 9 first stage. Coming up on 6 minutes into flight. In just a few seconds, the first stage entry burn will begin.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
You see that entry burn in play here as the speedometer is rapidly plummeting during this about 22-second burn. Dramatically slowing the vehicle, preparing for the landing burn.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
That landing burn coming up, beginning at about T plus 7 minutes and 55 seconds. You should see a touchdown on the drone ship at about T plus 8 minutes and 19 seconds. This booster is making its 10th flight tonight.
Stage 1 FTS has safed.
Nice little bit of symmetry, given that this is the 10th mission this year from Vandenberg Space Force Base.
Vehicles are on a nominal trajectory.
And of course, the 10th flight for SpaceX from California this year as well.
Stage 2 FTS has safed.
Stage 1 transonic.
First stage booster now traveling below the speed of sound, coming up on the start of that landing burn.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Here's the
Stage
call
2
out.
internal guidance.
See the burn in play. Drone ship should come into view momentarily.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And for a 10th time, we have a good touchdown and landing of this first stage booster. Tail number B1075 in the SpaceX fleet. Should hear a call out for Seco 1. Just a moment here.
Seco.
And that call that the upper stage Merlin vacuum engine has ceased firing, has gone into a parking orbit, will remain coasting as such until T plus 53 minutes, 22 seconds. It'll reignite its engine for a quick 2-second burn, setting up for Starlink satellite deployment at T plus 1 hour, 2 minutes,